All right, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to take your existing app to the next level by adding flow and declarative process. I'm Arnab, and I'm joined here by Rourke, and we're going to be covering a whole bunch of cool stuff today. Again, I'm Arnab. I'm the VP of Products for all process automation at Salesforce. I own Lightning Flow, Process Builder, and Einstein Next Best Action, which is currently in pilot. You can find me on the Trailblazer community if you want to ask more questions and continue the conversation. You can also tweet at me at ARBose on Twitter. This is a product presentation. I'm a product guy, so we'll cover some things that are not yet generally available. So please make your purchasing decisions based off of actually available product. That's what this slide is. I'm sure you've seen it many times at Dreamforce this year and beyond. But I'll be pretty clear about what exactly is GA versus what's coming in a future release. And before we kind of get started into the meat of the presentation, I first wanted to thank each and every one of you for taking the time out of your day, out of your career to come and learn more about Flow, learn more about the Lightning platform, and spend this time with us today. A quick show of hands for folks in the audience who are currently using Cloudflow Designer or Flow. So, okay, good. So there's a good percentage of the audience who are already Flow addicts today, and we hope to inspire you to do even more cool things with Flow. And for those who haven't used Flow as yet, hopefully this is going to give you a taste of what you can build with it and will get you excited and interested in the product. So what's the agenda for today? This is going to be a pretty in-depth session. I'm going to cover the first 2 bullet points. I'm going to talk a little bit about why should you build rich and dynamic apps using Lightning Flow, what's the thesis behind it. I'll cover a couple of new updates that are coming with Flow, and then Rourke's going to take you through a journey on tips on how to actually build apps with Lightning Flow, how to actually collaborate with your developer partners if you're an admin, and build these rich, exciting, engaging apps out. Our thesis on the Flow team is that simply building an app is not good enough. You have to build an incredible app experience. Most customers today expect consumer-grade experiences. Your employees expect consumer-grade experiences. This is what they're sort of getting each and every day when they use their mobile apps, when they use services. And so the custom apps that you go ahead and build, the apps you build on the Salesforce platform, need to deliver those seamless experiences. And our thesis on the Flow team is behind every seamless experience is a process. So even something simple like replacing a credit card could actually be a pretty complicated process. It could be very simple if you've damaged your credit card, if it's just expired and you need a replacement just mailed to your current home address, all the way down to being very complicated if your credit card was lost or stolen, maybe when you were on a trip, you have to dispute transactions, there's compliance and regulations around how those transactions are disputed, and so on and so forth. And all the while, your customers, your end users are expecting a connected experience and an integrated experience. They want it to be seamless on their mobile devices. They want to get notifications. They want everything to be hooked up end to end. And this is hard for companies today. You can go down a very long and winding road of complicated code and time to go ahead and build all these things out and actually deliver this seamless experience automated around your customer or your employee. And that's the reason why we built and released Lightning Flow. We launched Lightning Flow at TrailheaDX. So this was earlier on this year, about 6 or 7 months ago in March. And the 3 important things we added when we took Lightning Flow to GA was, A, the ability to embed Lightning components inside of Flow screens. So you can go ahead and have your developers build out custom, simple UI components that can then be driven declaratively through the Flow builder, delivering these rich and dynamic experiences like the ones that you're seeing in that animation over there. The second thing that we did is we made Flow a lot more integrated with the rest of the Salesforce platform. So we hooked it up to platform events, we connected it to external services, and all that kind of stuff was available in March. And then finally, we worked with Lightning App Builder, Community Builder to go ahead and connect Flow to all of those places so you can simply drag and drop the Flow onto those app experiences by using those declarative builder tools that Salesforce provides out of the box. Since our release at TrailheaDX, we've continued this journey. My goal is to go ahead and convert that long and winding road of time and code down to a paved superhighway, an autobahn, taking you directly to that seamless experience automated around the customer. And a few things I'll call out are, in the summer release, we launched our new Flow debugger, really reducing the amount of time it takes for you to go ahead and test out and sort of step through your flows. We took external services to general availability, If you haven't tried out external services before, definitely go check it out. It's a declarative way by which you can automatically set up outbound Apex integrations with third-party services that support OpenAPI or the Swagger protocol. We've added way more screen components. So Winter 19 has a ton more screen components available out of the box. Things like the dependent pick list or a name field. And we'll keep going on that journey to reduce the bar for entry to build out these declarative UIs using the flow builder. And we've also improved our integrations with the rest of the Salesforce apps. So for example, we launched Lightning Flow for Service, the action list with guided engagement in summer. That is GA. That's a new way to launch flows inside of Service Console, actually inside of any console experience in Lightning. And the second thing is we took flows for guest users in your community for things like self-registration or case submission to GA in the winter release. So lots of things have been happening even along that journey since we went GA in spring. And above and beyond just Lightning Flow, we are built into the Salesforce platform, which is the best way to go ahead and build out dynamic, engaging apps. We're the #1 high productivity platform as a service. And really the reason why we're #1 is because we have all of these tools that are meant for admins and developers to work together to go ahead and build out these rich, engaging experiences. A lot of what Rourke's going to talk to you guys about today is going to be able to demonstrate, is going to be about demonstrating that particular aspect. How can admins and devs work together and build out rich dynamic experiences? So Flow works with App Builder, Flow works with Community Builder, Flow works with custom components you develop in Lightning, Flow works with Apex components. All those things come together to deliver that dynamic experience. And we've seen phenomenal customer adoption and success in terms of actually taking that stuff that we launched and took to GA in spring. Already over the last 6 months, over 500 production orgs have started using the Lightning aspects of Lightning Flow, like custom Lightning components and screens and so on and so forth. The two things I'll call out of this animation is, one, this is a solution that Rourke on the Piro team actually built on vendor onboarding. You'll see that kind of flash up briefly over there. Really cool, sophisticated solution that's combining multiple flows and taking you through a guided journey. The second thing is the Republic Bank story. We did a webinar with Republic Bank on September 6th. They've gone ahead and taken to general availability for their service agents, a Lightning Flow for credit card disputes. So the exact use case I was calling out, transaction disputes for credit card issues, people losing or having their credit card stolen. They were able to reduce their average call handle time from 60 minutes to 6 seconds, a 99% decrease because they were able to guide their service agents through this visual process that's automatically making choices for them. So really, really sort of cool to see customers adopting it and actually getting benefits. So there are a couple of slides on what's new. So I'm going to talk about two things. I'm going to talk about the new Flow Builder that is coming soon, that's coming out in spring. And I'm also going to talk about the Flow Solutions category on AppExchange. And because I'm a product guy, I'm going to actually show these things to you live. And hopefully this is going to go as planned. So I'm going to exit out of PowerPoint over here and flip over to my demo org. So here we go. All right, so this is my demo org. This is on Winter 19, and it has the Flow Builder enabled. And you can see that there are two buttons over here. I can create a new flow, or I can create a new flow in the Lightning Flow Builder. To give you a sense for how much time it takes to load up the Lightning Flow Builder, I'm going to hit open over here and open one of these existing flows. So this is going to open in the existing Cloudflow Designer. So let's give it some time to kind of start loading up. And this one with this fancy icon is actually going to open up in the new Lightning Flow Builder. So I'm going to hit open on that guy. And you can see this is the Lightning Flow Builder opening up. This is Cloudflow Designer still processing. Lightning Flow Builder is already loaded. Cloudflow Designer is still, it's just loaded over there. So check it out over here. This is what it's going to look like. It's going to be able to open all your existing flows that you've built so far. It's going to have a simplified palette on the left-hand side. It's going to have an updated canvas that you can actually grab onto and pan and zoom. This is not a complicated enough flow where it's going to make as much of a difference, but you can totally see how it's going to change the way in which you can be productive in terms of building these flows out. So Spring 19, look forward to that release. It's going to be generally available, safe harbor. That's what our engineers are working towards, all that kind of stuff. But I'm really excited about this. I think this is going to take the ability for our customers, our admins, you guys in the audience to build flows to the next level. The second thing I want to call out is Flow Solutions and AppExchange. So this is a blog post by the AppExchange team introducing a smarter AppExchange that's more personalized. In this blog post, the second kind of piece of the announcement was embracing automated processes with Lightning Flow actions. So how do you find Lightning Flow actions and what are they? If you go to the AppExchange, click on Solutions by Type, click on Flow Solutions, you'll see a whole bunch of new actions that are now available. So you can accept credit card payments or ACH payments within Flow. You can play videos from Vidyard within Flow. You can connect to Task Tray and actually create Task Tray tasks within Flow. So how do these things work? Again, a quick harbor tour of that. This is my classic Flow designer. If I look in the left-hand side palette, there are some actions that will show up under Apex that are these NetSuite actions. So these are actually installed in this org by downloading and installing the Workato connector for NetSuite. And all I have to do to go ahead and use these actions is drag it over, and I can select parameters that I can pass through. So let's do that one more time, because that was kind of lagging on me. So there you go. So if I pass in a set of opportunity IDs, I can get back order IDs for those from NetSuite. So as an admin, you can go ahead and download and install these components, and you can just drag and drop them and start using them. I've got a flow built out over here that's actually using a couple of these components together. So that's the next sort of cool thing about it, which is not only do these components enable specific use cases, but because you can put them inside of a flow, you can combine many of them together. So I'm going to use our handy debugger to show this to you in action. When I hit run, it tells you that the admin user started the flow, and this is a charge and take credit card payment process. So Adrian's my boss. Let's charge him some money. So if I do that, you'll see that the charge and component automatically detects that it's a Visa card. It has some validation rules built in as well. So if I do that, that's going to tell me automatically that it's an incorrect number. If I give it an expiration date in the past, it's going to do the same. If I give it one in the future, it'll work. Give it a valid zip code. And let's charge him $100 for us. So if I hit yes, it's going to actually process the payment using Stripe in the back end, and it's going to give me back this kind of response. And the cool thing is, if I hit next over here, you'll see that the fact that that particular component was used and all the kind of inputs and outputs are showing up on the right-hand side. This is another interesting component. You'll be like, okay, this is a video player. Why is that exciting? Well, it's a video player that actually has logic in it. So you'll see that what I did was I played the video for a few seconds, and it actually returned back, that component returned back a percentage watched value. And I can use that percentage watched value in a decision, and based on how much of the video somebody has watched, I can take them down a different route. So if I go back on the screen now and watch more of the video, and I have to watch at least like 10% of it. So I'll let it run for a little bit, like 10 seconds or so. So let's let that go. I think that's more than 10%. If I hit next, you're going to see a totally different screen show up. This is a survey that's now showing up. And you'll see that in this decision, that because I watched 20%, I'm getting taken down a different route. So the really important things to keep in mind here are, we've just launched this particular category on AppExchange. We already have like 15 or 16 components up there. There's going to be more showing up every single day. And this is going to make the ability for you guys to go ahead and create richer and cooler flows far easier, right? You just go download these components, use them, send in parameters, and you're all set. So those are the two kind of big announcements from our perspective about Lightning Flow. This is the set of flow actions that are available now. And with that, now that you've kind of seen a little bit about the tech updates here, all the product updates, I'm going to hand it over to Roark, and he's actually going to show you and walk you through what it means to go build out these apps using Lightning Flow. So take it away, Rourke.
All right, thanks, Arnab. Thanks, everybody, for joining me today. As Arnab mentioned, I'm Rourke Lynch. I'm the technology lead for solutions and innovation at Aperio. I'm a developer. I'm an architect. I'm also the product champion for Community Cloud and Lightning Flow. I'm at Aperio. I've been Salesforce about 10 years. So our path to today. When we started this journey, I think we're in a place where maybe a lot of you are right now. I know a lot of us have been there in the past, which is that we knew that Flow Designer was there, used it a couple times, but it wasn't really something we often went to, right? We knew it kind of sit it in, but, I don't know, it's not a developer tool, is it this, is it that, not really so sure. Well, we were actually lucky enough last year to be part of Arnab's team that was actually the pilot of what became Lightning Flow. Last year at Dreamforce, we were up on stage giving a demonstration of a proof of concept that we built out with Integra Life Sciences, one of our partners. And at that point, what was kind of in Lightning Flow is, well, we had that Lightning Screen components were available. We had the ability to tap into some process builder events, embedded flows throughout the Lightning platform, and more. Even right then, we really had this feeling like, okay, there's something really exciting going on here. This is like what is a little change, but man, it opened up a whole new vista to us and what we can do. Since then, we have just gone all in when it comes to flow in our development process. So I'm part of a solution and innovation team. I'm part of our labs group, which means that speed is really important to us, right? Flow is what has actually enabled us to develop faster, deliver value more quickly, and also, most importantly, to be able to expand the tent of who can actually be included in our app development process. So traditionally, you want to have a guided or a complex or a rich experience. You're going to need to start depending a lot on developers, right? Apex coders or even JavaScript coders to really do some pretty sophisticated things. That slows things down, right? There's only so many good developers that are out there in the world. Well, with Lightning Flow, what we're able to do is actually, by doubling down on that as like the centerpiece of our development process, we're able to expand the tent. More admins, app builders, junior developers, even analysts can actually start to be engaged in the process of app development. And that not only allows us to iterate faster, but it also means that the things that we're leaving behind in the hands of our customers are far more flexible to extend where they want to go to. You know, Arnab was talking about the new Flow Solution Store. You may right now release something that has a certain set of functionality, you really understand that capability right now, but you know what? Now you want to figure out a way to tap in SlideShare or tap into credit card payments into that process. Now it's just a matter of installing something from the AppExchange, opening up the Flow Builder, dragging a new tile in there, and you can actually get everything up and running really quickly. So, you know, we talk about this as actually being a flow-based development process inside of Aperio. And I want to talk a little bit about, well, what that means. So first and foremost, like, flow is really big. Like, Lightning Flow is an umbrella term that is talking about a massive number of pieces of investment that Salesforce has had in the platform right now. This is part of that. If you're not familiar with any of these terms, we're going to take a look at some of these things today. But there's a lot of really important, really powerful new tools that are out there. The ability to use lightning screens we talk about. Local actions, which is one of the things that I am most excited about that was just released recently. And then in addition to that, some other things that the Lightning Component team is doing around things like modal dialogues, navigation APIs, workspace APIs, where we're able to get the ability to orchestrate and automate the entire experience, both inside of Lightning experience, inside Community Cloud, and also, you know, inside of, outside of your Salesforce org with things like with Lightning App as well. Sometimes you'll hear about Lightning Flow being talked about as process automation. I like to think about it a lot more as being around process orchestration. We're able to take all of these raw components, both the data and the tools that we have within our org, and orchestrate them together to give a really incredible consumer-grade experience to our teams, our internal teams, as well as our external customers. Flow-based development also is going to radically reduce the complexity of your builds. This may feel intuitive at first, right? Often we think about, we pretty quickly kind of hit this place where we start using declarative tools to do builds and things become kind of fragile maybe or something. No. That's not what's going on here. You're going to be able to get more done with fewer moving parts when you have a flow-based development process, and that's been really powerful for us. The final step of all this is this really improved experience that you're going to be able to deliver because of Lightning Flow. It's able to tap into everything. So you have basically no limits when you're dealing with visual presentation with Lightning components. But on top of that, because we increasingly have the ability to script and access the UI itself within Lightning and within inside Community Builder and our Salesforce communities, it means that we can provide an incredibly rich and incredibly engaging experience to both our workers and our customers. Now, one thing that flow-based development is not, it is not a replacement for Apex. Apex is always going to have a very important role in your org. But what flow-based development does is changes the role of Apex and the role of the Apex developers within your experience and within your organization. And what I mean by that is when we talk about the roles in a flow-based development process, we've got our admins and our app builders, and that's really where we're getting our big payoff. That's the centerpiece of this entire process, is you guys in the room right now. Now, on either side of you, you've got your analysts that are out there helping to define what your business requirements are, what is the product that you're actually trying to bring to market, and on the other side, you've got your developers. Now, typically, your developer is actually right there in the middle, actually building the application. But when you use a Lightning Flow-based development process, it's your admins and your app builders who are actually doing the building, and the developer's role is extending the toolbox of the things that you have to orchestrate as you build out your applications. Your developers are going to be focused on things like invocable methods. That's how you bring Apex into the Flow Designer. Lightning screens, which is how you create those really beautiful visual experiences. And local actions, which is the key to how you can actually orchestrate the broader Lightning experience and interact with basically any kind of JavaScript-based API that's out there. Now, how do we get started with some of this? I think that the big thing that I want to say is, right now, you all are admins, you all are app builders. This kind of capability is going to give you the opportunity to really, take more control over the situation that's going on in there, right? You are more empowered now with this than you have been in the past. So the first thing to do is start taking up a recipe book, right? Developers actually have really good patterns and really good habits that are out there for how they're able to get their work done. I think it's time for more of us in an admin and an app builder space to start taking care of that. Learning about these ideas of coding standards and design patterns, right? Documenting what works and what doesn't for you, and figuring out how we take those kinds of habits that good developers have and extend them over into the admin and the app builder space. So for instance, let's say we're trying to create a list. We need a flow to build a list. Well, what do we need? We need a Lightning component. That Lightning component needs to say, okay, the user was trying to add something, so we'll have another component that kind of shows a view. Maybe we've got a delete action that comes on top of that with a database operation, and then of course we've got this ability to end, right? Simple little patterns like this that we start to document and we start to get a shared language amongst each other as admins, but also more importantly amongst everyone within the team. Tip number 2, help make development friendly. When you're working with your developer to expand your toolbox, stake a claim in making sure that the things that they're making are going to be useful for you. Don't accept, gobbledygook API names and things like this. Say, you know what? I need some good labels. I need human readable help text, right? So that when someone is actually interacting with the tools that your developer is creating for you in the Flow Builder, they help you do your job well, and more importantly, they help the next person who has to pick up the work that you were just working on do their job well too, right? That's often one of the most difficult things that we deal with. Bonus points, if you really want to make your developers happy and challenge them, say, you know what, are you guys using any static code analysis when you're building tools for us? You can actually start applying these kinds of rules into your static code analysis. There's technical debt that comes along with them not making things that work well for you, right? And starting getting that included in the process. Number 3, we need to start moving more of these decisions from the developer's hands into the admin's hands. We talk about this as decisions that are made at design time, right? These are the choices that are not locked into the components or the Apex that are things that are going on out there. These are the kinds of choices that make it so that you are in control of the applications that are being built. And you know what? When you're building one of these flows and you look at that flow chart, can you see the process that you're trying to build actually in that flow chart? Or is it lots of little hidden things that are in there and you can't control, you always got to call on them? Don't do that. Start to think about the design elements that are going to work in your flow. Start to think about components as having results, not just showing information, but saying this button was clicked. This is the record that was selected when they were shown. And that's the kind of thing that's going to allow you to control the overall experience within Flow Designer and really take command of the app building process. Tip number 3. Get comfortable using record IDs and not sObjects as variables and inputs that are being passed back and forth. This is the kind of thing you should be seeing and you should be trying to use a lot more of inside of the Flow Builder. These are the kinds of things that your developers should start seeing a lot more of when they're doing work. Don't return lists of sObjects. Return just the list of the ID of the object that's there. I don't want to go too much into the dorky propeller head stuff about what's going on here, but there's a lot of really important, powerful caching and other features that are part of the Lightning runtime that you're able to take much better advantage of when you start dealing with record IDs over sObjects as variables that you're passing back and forth between your components. And that's not something that is just for your Apex developers. It's also something that your Lightning component developers should take to heart as well. And they're going to be comfortable with this. They're going to be seeing this pattern more and more in the frameworks. Number 5, finish up with local actions. Like I said before, local actions are, I think, actually one of the most exciting new things that are available inside of Lightning Flow right now. At its core, local actions is a way to invoke JavaScript in the client's browser as part of the flow. It's a very simple thing. That's all that it does. But what that means is that not only can you do things like, say, JavaScript-based integrations to other systems, right? It also means that you can take advantage of the really powerful JavaScript APIs that the Lightning team has been putting in place. It's local actions that allows us to say, after this step has happened, open this tab, open this utility bar component, pop up a modal dialog, right? Anything like that you can imagine. This is the key to it. Start to understand what local actions can do for you, and look for more and more packages that actually provide local actions to you when you're authoring things. All right, now it's my time to see if I can actually do this whole switch over here and show you some of this stuff in action. Our logo. All right.
1.
Yeah, 1, right? 1? Oh, there it is. Okay.
Perfect. Okay.
I'm very proud of myself right now. Okay, so as always in a demo, let's have a really wonderfully contrived org. So this is actually this is our org. We talked about let's say that in our org, when we create an account, we have to always make sure that we're creating a list of books associated with an account, right? Okay. So what we're seeing right here, this is Lightning Experience. This section right over here, this is actually a Lightning flow. What I want to do here is I'm going to come in and I'm going to create, an account for Kurt Vonnegut here. Let's add a couple books in that Kurt Vonnegut is responsible for, right? So, you know what's going to happen here. All my stuff is, I'm going to make tons of spelling mistakes, so you guys are going to really forgive me for that one. We got Slaughterhouse 5. Let's say we've got, there we go. Cat's Cradle, that's fun. Maybe a third book that we're going to add in here. This is going to be like, say, Cujo. Oh, wait a second, Cujo, that's actually not a book. That's not a Kurt Vonnegut book, so I can come in here. I can delete that one. Let's say I actually wanted to spell out 5 up here. Pay attention to that toast that just popped up. Come in here, 5. Now, this entire little mini application that I'm doing here, this is actually all something that has been built using Lightning Flow, orchestrating components and subflows, local actions. In particular, that local action right there, when I press done, you can see that it actually navigated me to the detail page to the account that I was just working on. And if I go over to this Books tab here on the record detail page, that should look pretty familiar. That's actually a subflow, right, that was used on the home page that's actually being reused here on the record detail page, right? But there's some pretty significant important differences, right? We're missing that done button. There's certain capabilities that we don't expose right here. Let's take a look behind the scenes at actually how some of this stuff is pulled together. Here is the Flow Designer, and I'm really jealous that Arnab gets to have access to the Lightning Flow Designer right now. So we'll suffer through Flash at the moment. But this is that flow that was embedded on the home page there. We have our screen where we're able to create our account. If I pull this up, you can see we've got 2 Lightning components that I have added into that screen right now. And I want to point out a couple things about being like app-friendly or app builder friendly. So, okay, I was trying to create an account. What fields did I want to have in there? Well, maybe I wanted more than just the name. Maybe I also wanted to include the website on that particular form. You know, I can just save that. I'll do a quick save as here. You know, our lovely version control with flows. Don't worry about that warning. That's just letting me know that this will only work in the Lightning runtime. And you see, just with that really quick point and click interface here, I'm able to come in, and now I've got not just account name, but also the website that's being listed. This is the idea of like being app builder, being app builder and admin friendly. Okay. Same sort of thing. Here's my subflow. This is that modify book subflow that I was putting in 2 different places. We're going to be using inputs that are not only dealing with the record ID itself. This is the list of the account I want the list of books for. If we are coming through here, we're also able to come in and start using our input variables that not only set context, like things like record ID, but also allow us to control the presentation of subflows and components when we present them. So these are options that I have, whether or not I want to show books in flow, show a done button, show a heading on that particular component. Start to think about how you can make your subflows and your components themselves flexible into more situations, right? And start to demand this of the team that you're working with. This is our local action that's dealing with navigating to that record. What do I want to do? I want to view this particular record ID. This is how we're able to say, okay, I'm done building that list. Now go show me the account that I just created. Okay, so that's pretty good. Let's look at something that's a little bit more sophisticated and can show some other really powerful features of flows here. Let's actually step on in and take a look at that modify books flow. So when this loads up, what we're going to see here, this would actually look pretty familiar. This is actually built on that whole idea of that list building recipe before, right? We've got our screen that is showing what books we want to list. We have our decision node over here that is saying what was the status of what the user just, what was the result of presenting the list books component right there. And we can say, okay, if we want to remove, we're going to come down here. We're going to delete our record in flow, not hide that decision as something that is inside of the component itself. That toast message that was popped up when I deleted that Cujo from the home page, that's actually something that we're able to orchestrate and include right in our flow itself. And if I open this up, I can look at the exact language that's being shown, what icon is being shown, what color is being used. All of these decisions that are often things that are kept in the hands of developers, with this particular style of development, they can be given to you. You get to control exactly what's being shown at what time and make the changes immediately when you need to. Up here, this is this idea of when we talk about those inputs that control presentation but also behavior of our flows. We say when this is presented, when the user selected a book from that list, what do we want to do? Do we want to be showing that book in flow, right? That's what we did on the home page. Or do we want to be using a local action to actually open that book in another location, right? This is, again, this idea of making more of these decisions that are often in the hands of developers, giving it to you as admins and app builders so that you have more flexibility to move forward in the future. Okay, I'm going to switch back to our presentation here. Okay. Did I do it? Boom.
Awesome.
Oh, I went all the way back to the beginning. Sorry about that, guy. I was so proud of myself too, and there it is. I might be able to think in curly braces and semicolons, but give me PowerPoint and I'm a total loss. So some really great key resources to look and learn and train on. These killer trail mixes. This is some really great stuff. If you guys aren't already like all in on Trailhead, you got to. It's the best thing that's out there. Go into the Flow Expert, the Flow Beginner Trails. Learn more about what flows work, how these Lightning components work, how you can connect all that kind of stuff together. The Lightning Flow Development Center there, also an incredible richness of resources that can really help jumpstart your work, as well as the work of the developers that are helping get more done every single day. And I think with that, Arnab?
Awesome. Let's give Roark a round of applause. Yeah. Thank you for that demo, Roark. It was awesome. I only have a couple more slides. So there's just one more over here, which is this hopefully was kind of a cool intro into what you can do with Lightning Flow, as well as some like interesting tips and tricks on how to work with your developers. So as your developers extend out Lightning Flow with either custom Lightning components for screens or local actions or Apex, those are usable to you as admins in the best way possible. But we have more in our Dreamforce journey with Lightning Flow. So I'm actually running another session later on today at 3 o'clock about reimagining app dev, and the customer speaker there is going to be AAA Carolinas. They actually won an app venture contest because they built an app with Lightning Flow. And then tomorrow morning, we're doing some more theater sessions where you can play a little bit more closely with some of the flow actions that I was demoing. And we have some time for Q&A, but I might go off script a little bit because we have a couple more minutes. So I want to show you one more cool thing that you can do with Lightning Flow starting winter 19. And the cool thing is you can actually invoke flows now from chatbots. So let's take a look at my demo org. And OK, we've got Lightning Flow Builder up and running. So that's cool. And let's take a look at what this console looks like. So we have a customer here set up, and the customer contact is called Lauren, and that phone number is set to my cell phone. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have Lauren log into our community and actually start interacting with the chatbot. So I'm going to open up an incognito window and log in as Lauren in the customer portal. And let's actually shrink this window down a bit to make it look a bit skinnier so you can see what's happening over here. So as you can see, this is a community. This is a Lightning customer community, and it's got live agent chat embedded in it. And when I click on this, it's loading up chat with an expert. It pre-populates her name, and I can hit start chatting. So the thing that is new in winter that is generally available is the ability for this chatbot to actually call a headless or invocable flow. So what's going to happen here is if I select one of these actions that the chatbot itself can satisfy, like giving me options for a walk-in appointment, it's going to immediately go ahead and respond back with those options. But let's say I wanted to do something that is a little bit more complicated and it actually requires a two-factor authentication and verification that I am who I am. I ask for account balance, and what this is doing is it's sending out a text notification now via Lightning Flow using one of those invocable actions. And on my watch now, I've got a notification that says the verification code is 1460. So that just happened because of a Lightning Flow Apex invocable action built to hit a Twilio API that sent that SMS message to my phone. So I'm going to go ahead and type in 1460 here. And it's going to go ahead and use another flow that's going to hit that Twilio API again to verify that that number that I typed in was actually correct. And it gave me back my account balance information. So it's just a quick sort of teaser about the things you can do now with the Lightning platform. Because the way we've built it, these flows are not just for use within a UI inside of Service Cloud or a platform or Lightning Experience. You can use them inside of a community, of course. But you can now, starting winter, start using them in conjunction with chatbots. So flow actions, Lightning Flow, chatbots, all together in a community, taking your customer engagement to the next level. So with that extra demo and off-script stuff, let's pause for a little bit and give you guys the chance to ask us some questions. Right, go ahead.
I'll start it off. So this is probably like the 5th or 6th Lightning Flow demo I've had at this Dreamforce. So I apologize if I ask a question you didn't really address.
Yeah.
So dependent pick lists are coming out. Is that a spring, a winter, and how does it work?
Let's take a look. Again, we'll do, let's do an off-the-cuff demo here to see how dependent pick lists could work. So this is a winter org. My org's already been upgraded. And dependent pick lists are generally available in winter. I probably won't get a chance to show you exactly how to set everything up, but I can show you where to look. So once you drag in a screen, drag in Lightning component, and then dependent pick list is going to be an out-of-the-box Lightning component. So I have a whole bunch here, so just give me a second as I check these. So any of these components that you see that say flow runtime, those are the ones that we're providing out of the box, which you don't have to write. So URL, name, etc. So let me find the dependent pick list here. And so there's a slider component. This is a dependent pick list that we wrote earlier on in the year. That's the toggle component. Let's see. Email. I'm just clicking through here, but the short answer to your question is it is available, and I will be able to find it at some point in time. So let's see, flow runtime, and yeah. Maybe you can take another question, and while I answer that question, I can pull it up.
This might be for you, Rourke. As you've done these a few times, the admins and developers working hand in hand, what are some of the best practices that, or maybe what might you do differently today versus knowing all these new things have come up?
What I was just talking about, that's the change that we've made. So we've been doing a lot of Bolt development. We released a Bolt called our med device Bolt, which is the guided experience around ordering medical devices, right? That was something that was built pre-Lightning Flow days, right? That was heavy. We had to dynamically choose components, show what was going on. We had some changes for customers. It was a difficult thing to shift back and forth. But if you go and you look at what we've done with our customer onboarding experience and our vendor onboarding experience bolts, those are things that are completely built literally 100% with Flow. And we're able to deliver things so much faster because we've adopted these kinds of patterns that we're talking about here. We found ourselves, when we're architecting the builds that we go in, we're breaking things down more and more. And when we look at components, we don't just look at how do we make it work, but how do we make it work for admins? I think that's the biggest change.
Yeah.
And I think that we're probably out of time, but please come on over. I'd love to talk to anybody else that has any other questions.
Yeah. And then whoever asked the question about dependent pick list, that's how the configuration is going to look. You can choose the API names and labels.